It started as laughter, that raw electric sound of collective daring echoing through screens. A decade ago, the internet discovered that danger could trend. From the Cinnamon Challenge to the Tide Pod Dare, each new craze promised a moment of online immortality. Teens coughed, choked, and gasped, while comment sections filled with crying, laughing emojis. Parents shook their heads, schools issued warnings, but the hashtags only grew stronger. Every upload felt like a test of bravery. A modern rite of passage broadcast in 1080p. We didn't see it then. How the thrill of risk became the algorithm's favorite meal. Every click rewarded, every view amplified. Harmless fun turned into a cultural obsession, feeding on attention and adrenaline. And for a few, that obsession would lead to tragedy. The internet was never neutral. Every like, share, and comment was a signal, a whisper into the algorithm's ear. It listened carefully. The more dangerous the challenge, the faster it spread. The system didn't understand fear or pain or consequence. It only understood engagement. The thrill of near disaster became its fuel. People watched because they couldn't look away, and the platforms rewarded that attention with more of the same. Teens weren't just performing for each other anymore. They were performing for an invisible machine that learned what made us click. The line between entertainment and emergency blurred until it disappeared. What began as harmless fun had now become an ecosystem of escalation. Somewhere between curiosity and chaos, the challenge became a measure of worth. Likes meant bravery. Views meant belonging. Jordan posted his first clip after seeing others his age go viral overnight. He told his friends it was just for laughs. But inside, he felt that quiet hope. The kind that says, maybe, this is the moment the world notices me. Emily watched her follower count tick up each week and wondered how much further she had to go to matter online. And Mason, quiet behind his screen, learned that pain could earn attention faster than talent ever could. In the age of instant fame, validation wasn't earned. It was risked. The first warning signs appeared quietly. A hospital visit here. A fainting episode there. But those videos rarely went viral. Pain wasn't profitable unless it came wrapped in laughter. The community labeled it all just fun. A shared rebellion against the safe and ordinary. Behind every trending sound was a story of risk dismissed as entertainment. Cinnamon burned throats. Detergent burned lungs. Breath was held too long. All for a clip under 30 seconds. What no one said out loud was that danger had become content. The camera didn't flinch, even when people should have. Even as accidents piled up, the laughter online never stopped. Viewers called it fake, staged, or overreaction. Empathy turned into emojis. Tragedy became part of the show. The louder the chaos, the more the algorithm smiled. Somewhere, Jordan's clip hit 1,000 likes in an hour. Emily rehearsed her challenge intro in the mirror, practicing the perfect laugh. Mason watched both of them unseen, taking notes. They were strangers to each other. But soon, their stories would connect in the darkest way possible. Every story of online tragedy starts with a click. It doesn't sound like much. A fingertip on glass. A sound barely louder than a breath. But that's how it begins. For Jordan, it was a video of a challenge called the Gallon Smash. For Emily, it was a trend-marked hash breath hold challenge. And for Mason, it was the algorithm's perfect suggestion, watch next, the blackout dare. Each one paused before pressing play. A single moment of hesitation. But then the click, and the algorithm took care of the rest. What they didn't realize was that the system wasn't offering choice. It was making one for them. Curiosity became a contract, and none of them would walk away unchanged. Jordan wanted to go viral before graduation. It wasn't about money, just recognition. The kind that made people whisper your name in hallways. His first clip got a few thousand views. Not enough. Then came the fire spray challenge. Reckless. Stupid. Dangerous. But it promised engagement. He set up his phone, positioned a lighter, smiled. His friends laughed in the background. He wanted to look fearless. Inside, his pulse was a drum beat. The screen counted down to record. 3, 2, 1. And Jordan's life started burning brighter than he could control. Emily's life was split between night shifts and motherhood. But online, she was funny, spontaneous, alive. Her videos brought her followers small joy. She wasn't chasing connection. She was chasing connection. When she saw the breath hold challenge, she thought it looked harmless. Something to make her audience laugh. She set her phone on a cup, smiled into the lens, and said, "Let's see if I can beat the record." Behind her, the microwave clock read at 12:37 a.m. Her daughter was asleep. The quiet hum of the refrigerator was the only way. For Mason, the internet was a window into belonging. At school, silence made him invisible. Online, he could be anyone. His feed began recommending darker challenges, ones that blurred the line between courage and self-destruction. The blackout challenge appeared one night, its thumbnail showing someone mid-laughter, mid-collapse. The comments said harmless, funny, just don't overdo it. Mason scrolled through hundreds of them, the word safe repeated enough times to feel true. He whispered to himself, maybe I can try it. The algorithm didn't know he was alone. It didn't care. One video becomes 10. 10 becomes 100. The algorithm doesn't sleep, doesn't pause, doesn't warn. Each new suggestion is slightly riskier, slightly louder. The thrill is addictive. Jordan uploads again. Emily schedules her next post. Mason starts practicing alone. They all feel seen, validated by strangers who know nothing of their real lives. It's not that they wanted to die. They just wanted to matter. And in a world where attention feels like oxygen, they didn't realize they were already holding their breath. It was supposed to be funny. That's what Jordan kept saying as he set up the camera. Just one more try, one more laugh, one more clip to post before practice. His friends cheered, hyping him up. None of them thought it would go wrong. It never does, until it does. He tilted the can, flicked the lighter, and leaned into the flame. For a moment, it worked. That beautiful, reckless glow that made him look invincible. Then, in less than a second, the fire turned on him. The camera kept rolling as shouts filled the air. Someone screamed his name. The video would later be shared millions of times. But in that moment, the only sound was the fire. Panic is loud. Chairs knocked over, shouts blending with the hiss of extinguishers and sirens. His friends didn't stop recording. Not out of cruelty, but confusion. When the fire finally died, they were left with silence and the faint beep of a phone notification. Jordan's clip was already online, uploaded automatically through his story queue. Within minutes, comments started flooding in. Fire emojis, laughing faces. Bro's a legend. No one knew he was on his way to the hospital. The internet doesn't pause for pain, it keeps scrolling. By the time Jordan reached the hospital, his video had already gone viral. It wasn't framed as tragedy. It was trending under @epicfail. Hundreds of reposts. Thousands of comments. People laughed. Others scolded. But everyone watched. In less than an hour, Jordan's face was everywhere. No one knew his name. They just knew that kid who caught fire for the internet. It was content. For his family, it was a nightmare that wouldn't stop replaying. Virality had replaced empathy. The video wasn't just shared. It was immortalized. By morning, Jordan's school group chat was flooded. Some students posted tributes, others shared memes. The line between sympathy and mockery blurred. Local news picked up the story. Headlines read, "Teen's online stunt ends in hospitalization." Teachers gave speeches about safety. Influencers used the clip for views. And somewhere in that noise, Jordan's real story disappeared, replaced by algorithms feeding on the chaos. Even his friends didn't know how to grieve publicly without turning it into content. The digital world doesn't allow silence. It demands performance even in mourning. By the end of the week, #Pray for Jordan trended on Twitter. The same people who laughed at his video were now sending prayers. Others debated blame. Parents, schools, the platforms. But no one looked at the root why danger sells better than safety. Jordan's account went silent, but the algorithm didn't stop recommending his video. It became part of the platform's endless carousel of content. Tragedy packaged as entertainment. For the internet, Jordan was just another story. For those who loved him, he was gone. The laughter online had finally gone quiet, but only for a moment. The late hours were Emily's time. The hours after work, after dishes, after her daughter finally fell asleep. That was when the world online felt alive. Her notifications were her conversation, her comments, her company. She told herself she was building something, an audience, a brand, maybe a second chance. Every video she posted filled the quiet with applause from strangers. But lately, those same strangers were asking for more, riskier, funnier, wilder. The laughter that once felt harmless began to sound like pressure. The internet doesn't just watch, it demands. She posted a teaser one evening tomorrow night. "I'm trying something crazy." It wasn't meant as anything serious. Just a way to keep engagement up. But the comments came fast. "Can't wait. Do it, Queen. You got this." That dopamine rush hit like a spark. Her follower count ticked upward. Her inbox filled with requests for more. It's strange how validation can sound like love when you've been lonely long enough. Emily smiled at her screen, whispering, "Okay, one more." Outside, the city slept. Inside, the ring light hummed like a heartbeat. The camera was already rolling before she started. She took a deep breath, smiled wide, and said, "Hey guys, you asked for it." Her tone was bright, maybe too bright. Every influencer learns how to hide exhaustion with a smile. She laughed between takes, fixing her hair, trying to get the lighting just right. For a moment, it wasn't about danger at all. It was about performance. The need to prove she was still relevant. Still seen. The video ends abruptly, mid-sentence. The next morning, her followers woke to silence. Hours passed. No new post, no live stream, no update. At first, her followers joked, "She's keeping us waiting." Then concern crept in. Messages filled her comment sections. Her most loyal fans refreshed her page until morning, watching as her last video froze mid-laugh. In digital time, silence feels like forever. By noon, #Where is Emily trended. No one knew what had happened, only that she had disappeared from the feed, her last upload now looping endlessly, laughter echoing into emptiness. Her followers became detectives, searching for meaning in the pixels she left behind, frame by frame, analyzing smiles, captions, timestamps. Comments turned into prayers, tributes, and conspiracy threads. Her page transformed into a memorial without announcement. The laughter that once filled her videos was replaced by candle emojis and the word, "Remember." The internet, in its infinite scroll, doesn't know how to mourn. It just replays the past until it feels like the present again. For Emily, that's all that remained. A smile frozen in time, caught forever between performance and goodbye. It took less than 48 hours for two separate stories to collide. Jordan's clip and Emily's last post appeared side by side on trending feeds, stitched together by strangers chasing clout. Edits, remixes, commentary, each claiming to raise awareness while chasing views of their own. Headlines screamed, "Challenge culture out of control." The same algorithms that fueled the danger now fueled the debate. The tragedies became content again, only this time dressed in sympathy. The cycle had no pause button. Comment sections turned into digital battlegrounds. Half the voices demanded accountability, the other half mocked, doubted, or deflected. Where were the parents? It's the algorithm. They knew the risks. Empathy competed with outrage for engagement. Influencers filmed reactions. Journalists wrote think pieces, and every repost extended the reach. The tragedies no longer belonged to their families. They belonged to the feed. Every click, every reaction was data, and data meant profit. Behind polished interfaces, recommendation engines analyzed grief the same way they analyzed comedy. The longer people watched, the more ads they saw. The system didn't understand that these were real people. To it, tragedy and entertainment were just categories with similar retention rates. Somewhere in an office, someone celebrated record engagement. Somewhere else, two families unplugged their routers, trying to breathe. Reaction videos poured in. Creators filmed tearful monologues, sponsored by energy drinks or merch lines. Grief became monetized sincerity. Clips of Jordan's and Emily's faces appeared in thumbnails titled, "This needs to stop." The irony was unbearable, people condemning viral culture while feeding it. Mason, quietly watching from his room, scrolled through all of it, learning that online, even mourning had an algorithm. At sunset, a trend began. Users posting short clips holding candles to their screens, whispering names they never knew. For a brief moment, empathy resurfaced. Thousands of tiny lights shimmered through timelines, comments filled with the words, "We're sorry," but as the night faded, so did the trend. The next morning, another challenge surfaced and the cycle restarted. The echo was complete. Tragedy had become rhythm, and silence had no algorithm. When outrage peaks, corporations speak. Within days, platforms released official statements, short paragraphs written by legal teams promising safety initiatives and new moderation tools, words without ownership. The language was polished, detached, built to calm investors rather than heal families. Reporters quoted the statements in looping news cycles, but offline, two empty bedrooms told the real story. The platforms hadn't failed to act. They'd succeeded exactly as designed, rewarding whatever kept people watching. Documentaries appeared within a week. Slick edits, dramatic titles, somber piano underscoring. The stories were honest, but they still needed clicks. Each thumbnail showed the same still frames: Jordan's laughter, Emily's smile. One journalist whispered off camera, "We, trapped in the same system we're criticizing." The truth was hard to escape. Even awareness had to perform. In interviews, parents spoke quietly. They didn't want lawsuits. They wanted understanding. They held up photos, described ordinary mornings that ended in confusion. A mother said, "He just wanted people to notice him." A sister said, "She was happiest when people commented back." Each sentence ended the same way. "We never thought it could happen to us." For a moment, the world listened. Then the feed refreshed, and their voices were buried beneath new noise. Some influencers began to speak out. They filmed themselves without makeup, voices shaking, admitting they'd promoted challenges without thinking. Apologies trended for a day, followed by parodies the next. Yet a few kept their promise, deleting risky videos, teaching media literacy, urging followers to slow down before posting. It wasn't redemption, but it was a start, a whisper against the algorithm's roar. For the first time, audiences looked inward. People scrolled through their histories, likes, comments, shares, and saw their fingerprints on the machine. The realization stung. Every click had built the world they now feared. A few logged off. Most stayed, because leaving meant silence, and silence online feels like disappearing. The reckoning wasn't a revolution. It was a mirror, and in it we saw ourselves, reflected in pixels, complicit, still watching. Eventually, every trend ends. The hashtags that once burned across timelines dissolve into older posts, buried beneath new obsessions. For a while, it feels like peace. But open any comment section long enough, and you'll still find ghosts, old usernames posting broken hearts months later. The silence isn't healing. The internet doesn't mourn. It refreshes. And somewhere, on a phone left untouched, the last notification still glows. Unread, unanswered, fading slowly with the battery. A month later, new challenges appear. Harmless at first, then louder, faster. Creators promise they've learned, but the rhythm stays the same. Engagement demands motion, and motion never grieves. The families have stopped giving interviews. The journalists have moved to other stories. The algorithm hums, unchanged. Somewhere in the background, an old clip autoplays, the sound turned off, the laughter still looping without meaning. Mason still watches, but differently now. The feed feels heavier, the laughter sharper. He scrolls back through Jordan's and Emily's pages, not for entertainment, but to remember what came before the noise. He thinks about posting something honest, something real, but stops. Maybe the most radical act online is saying nothing at all. For the first time, he powers down his screen. The room fills with quiet that doesn't need approval. At home, Jordan's parents scroll through old photos stored in the cloud. Emily's daughter, too young to understand, points at a video thumbnail and says, "That's mommy." Memory has become digital property. Backed up, synced, shareable. The families learn to live with versions of their loved ones that still exist online. Pixels become altars, likes become candles. And in that strange half-light, remembrance feels both eternal and unreachable. In the end, there is only the hum of servers and the faint flicker of idle screens. The tragedies fade into archives, but their lessons linger in fragments. A headline here, a comment there, a whisper reminding us that attention has a cost. The camera pans out thousands of windows glowing across a sleeping city. Inside each, someone scrolling, someone laughing, someone daring, someone watching. The world keeps uploading, unaware that the silence after every video is the part that matters most.